This has major implications on the Miami Heat, as top analysts and journalists covering the game of basketball have just published a brand new article highlighting the financial situation going on down in Miami, including three of the top players in a Miami Heat uniform this season: Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, and even the newest addition, Norman Powell. I'm here to break down this article and how this could result in a very slippery slope for this Miami Heat team, and honestly could result in an entirely different roster from top to bottom going into the 2026-2027 NBA season. I'll break down all of that on this episode of Heat Digest, but first, please do remember, if you're a part of the percentage watching this video not currently subscribed to the channel, scroll down and click that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything Miami Heat. We are now just, 4 days away from the NBA season kicking off. We cannot wait. I hope to see you guys there. Now, let's get to it and break down the major team updates surrounding this Miami Heat organization. Now, as we've broken down in the past on this channel, especially this offseason we just got through, Tyler Hero is going into the final year of his contract. Yes, he has the current year he's on, but next year is the final year of his contract, and he does not have a player option. He will then become an unrestricted free agent if not approached by this Miami Heat organization with a contract extension. Now, he's not the only one in that boat, but he's the biggest name. Why? Well, Miami had already extended him after his rookie deal because of the play they got when he was originally drafted, and he's only gotten better year after year after year. But with the free agency class that is looming in 2027, would Miami actually pull the trigger and go out there and take care of someone in Tyler Hero they could possibly replace with a bigger name? Now, I'm not going to say a better player, because if we're saying he's a better player currently, it's kind of obsolete because we have to watch this season and all of next season before that comment is really in effect. So I'm not going to say a better player and then name James Harden or one of the names, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not saying Tyler is going to make that type of growth in the next year and a half, but they are getting older. Tyler Hero is obviously still relatively young going into his age 26 season. He has a lot of basketball out in front of him. Like, bearing an injury, if one of those guys isn't playing and Hero's the better player in that situation because he's active. The best ability is availability. We all know this. So to the article, what are we citing? From Brian Windhorst and others from ESPN, I will say, published this article just yesterday, and they were discussing a lot of everything that had to do with the Miami Heat, including praising Erik Spoelstra for adding another accolade to the long list that he has already collected with being named the head coach of Team USA. Now, that's awesome. Erik Spoelstra is the best fit for it. He's the best coach in the NBA, without a doubt. He's been in the game for so long at so many different levels, and obviously he has been involved in winning basketball down in South Beach for a long, long tenure, and that's awesome. But then you get through the first part of the article, and then Brian Windhorst and Tim Bontemps and others go through this Miami Heat organization and really the financial contract situations that they are dealing with, not only this year, but for the years coming forward, and how they are really set up amongst the top of the league when it comes to 2027 free agency, and the abilities they will have in the sense of spending money to go out there and create legitimately a super team. So, to start, Brian Windhorst says Tyler Hero is coming off an all-star season and is definitely interested in extending with the Heat, but there hasn't been any substantive talks to this point, and a deal is doubtful, sources say. So, brand new updates here. Windhorst saying that the contract extension for Tyler Hero is doubtful up to this point. Now, could this change the second Hero returns if he goes out there and plays his absolute mind, his plays his ass off, and he goes out there and produces at an all-star or even possibly an MVP level? Absolutely. That is not out of the question, in my opinion, in any way. But if you get another year where you're getting 24, 6 and 4 from Tyler Hero, and he's another all-star, which is great, but he doesn't make an NBA first team, or he doesn't win an MVP or in the conversation for it, producing a lot of winning basketball down in Miami as the guy, you could see how Miami would try to tend away, possibly even trade Hero in the final year of his contract, try to flip him for as many goods as they could get, or again, let him ride out into the sunset, try to prove his worth to the absolute last minute, and then try to extend him. There's a lot of different variables in this situation that could take place, But right now, it seems like getting the contract extension this season is not going to happen, bearing an MVP level, level of production this year from Tyler Hero. So to move on, in a vacuum, Hero's the player the Heat probably should be most interested in extending, and Hero saw former All-Star Bam Adebayo get a large extension last year, but it doesn't appear to be on the horizon for Tyler Hero, at least up to this point going into the new 2025-2026 NBA season. As for two other extension candidates recently acquired, Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins, long-term deals are also unlikely. Powell, whom the LA Clippers traded in Miami in part because they were dodging their own contract issues with him, could get a short deal, if anything. Wiggins, for his part, has a player option for $30 million in 2026-2027, and while it's possible the Heat might hope to negotiate that number, they also might not. So, what's going on? Hero, 1 year left on his contract after this season, doubtful on a contract extension. Norman Powell, the newest addition to this Miami Heat team, in the final year of his contract, coming from the Los Angeles Clippers, and because of that, seems like he won't get a contract extension unless he seems inevitable and something that the Miami Heat can't live without. Again, not saying MVP level numbers, but sixth man of the year probably, going out there being a most improved candidate, something along those lines, which I doubt is going to happen because Jovic is most likely going to be the leader for most improved player, in my opinion, going into the season. And then for Wiggins, he's the one that seems like he has the most flexibility. Obviously, he has 1 more year on this contract following this season, and it is a player option, so he can opt in, he can opt out and test free agency if he thinks he can go out there and get close to that $30 million number that he's going to get in the final year of his contract with Miami, which seems unlikely. $30 million is a steep number, and in the NBA, yes, lucrative contracts are being thrown out all over the place. But again, Wiggins signed this contract back in 2023 with the Golden State Warriors, and he got a 4-year, $110 million contract. Is he going to get anything relatively close to that? Maybe, maybe not. It's, again, you're testing your own open market. You're testing yourself on the open market, and really, you're seeing how the league feels about you as a whole, across the board. Who wants you? Who's willing to pay you any money, if even a substantial amount of money? It's a very interesting part of the season, and really one of the most exciting if you look down into the nitty-gritty and the conversations that are being had behind closed doors amongst these different teams trying to really allocate this money towards these specific players and building championship rosters. Now, to the 2027 offseason, and why would Miami not want to go out there and extend all of these guys like Hero, like Powell, like Wiggins, which has really created a really, really good team on paper going into this regular season? Well, and why did Miami do that? Because sources say the Heat, like many other teams around the league, are planning for the aforementioned 2027 free agency class. Now, what does that mean? Well, the 2027 class is absurd. Giannis, Steph Curry, James Harden, Jimmy Butler, just to name a few. Obviously, Tyler Hero will obviously still be in there. Jordan Poole. The list goes on and on and on. And these are just the top names. There are a collection of others that are also going to be available that are just ticks under in talent and really price and cost, if you will, just below these guys. It's just the screenshot and how many they could hold. But again, at the top of the list, it is a ridiculous line of players. Anthony Davis also being involved. Bam Adebayo is going to be taken care of by this Miami Heat team until the 2028-2029 season. So this 2027 offseason could be massive for Miami. Outside of Jovic, this graphic is up to date. Jovic obviously just got that extension, which will take him until the 2029 season, I believe. So Miami has a lot of money not on the books following 2026-2027, where they will basically have an open market of players. Bam Adebayo will be under contract in the last year of his deal before then his final year, which is a player option. He could opt in, he could opt out. But then you have rookie deals for Ware, Yakuchonis, and Drew Smith. Outside of that, or those are team options. Outside of that, you're good. There's no one else under contract, which is scary, but that's a ways away. Miami will obviously have to make moves and acquire some other talent. But those talents may be under minimum deals, again, in rental deals, just like Norman Powell, which could result in a lucrative and monstrous offseason in 2027. Let me know down below what you would do. Would you extend any of the three players we have discussed up to this point in the video, or would you take the chance and try to go crazy in the 2027 offseason? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.